Hi, and welcome to a simple strategy to land media coverage for Christmas, the workshop. So my goal is to, have a publicity strategy in place by the time we finish this workshop. Now, I'm just come on to say hi, but now I'm going to screen share for you so that you can actually see. If I can find the right screen, there we go. Share the screen for you so that you can, and I might also bring it over to my other screen. Sorry, if I can do that. If I can bring it over here, is that going to work? I don't think it is. No, that's all right. We'll look this way. So I guess what the goal of this is so that you can get your strategy in place by the time we finish today's training. So I guess some of the things, if you can look at the slides now, the slides should go through. The things we're going to look at today are the step-by-step process it takes to land media coverage. You don't need to be a big business to gain media, why you should be using Christmas to attract media attention, and a story strategy that you can use to land media coverage to increase your expert status, your brand awareness, and increase sales, of course, for your next event, your book release, or your product launch that you're doing. So even if you have no ties to the media, no PR experience, and no PR agent, you can do this all yourself. Now, I just want to, before we go today, I just want to, let you know that this building happening next door. Yesterday, I have a feeling that maybe they were painting because I never heard from them. Today, they're drilling and hammering, which is just perfect timing. We'll see how we go. Hopefully, my microphone isn't picking that up. Now, if you can let me know in the chat as well that you can hear me, that the audio is okay, that the visual is okay, that would be fantastic. And I'll check that now. Sorry, it's on my other screen, which makes it look funny if I'm looking over there. No, we're all good. Fantastic, lovely. Well, let's keep going then. So unfortunately, due to some technical glitches, I've had a few today. I'm not quite sure why they're all happening at once. That's just the way it goes, I guess, but we don't have a workbook to follow through. But once we have the recording, I'd love to have that for you so that you can actually map things out. If you don't have a pen and paper, go and grab one now, because I'm just going to do my story, which some of you already know anyway. So go and do that now, get a pen and paper so you can actually take action during this. And that's really the goal that I want for today, is for you to actually put something in place that you can follow. I don't want you to just sit here and listen. So as I said, I also have one other thing before I start is that I also have a special offer at the end of this workshop that I'm excited to share with you, if you're able to stay to the end. And I will stress that this webinar, this workshop, is going to be really short. It's going to be packed full of information. I don't want it to drag on beyond an hour. I want it to be less than an hour. So my goal is 40 minutes. We'll see how we go. So, back to that one. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Kellie O'Brien. I was a newspaper journalist for about 16 years. And during that time, I became a senior journalist. I was a chief copy editor and also a chief of staff, which is a person who pretty much sorts through the stories that come into the newsroom and then delegate those to the journalists. I have to say, though, probably my favourite period was being an entertainment journalist, where I really got to see how stars and celebrities really work the media, and it is incredible to watch, and it's certainly given me a lot of tips coming into this side of the business, or this side of the industry. I also had a regular weekly radio segment on a commercial station, and that ran for quite a few years as well. Then what happened in 2010, I actually went on maternity leave. I started a blog, and I attracted all this attention from women in business, particularly wanting to know how to do their own PR for their business. So it wasn't really my intention to start a business. That's just pretty much where I ended up. So I very much come from the perspective of a journalist rather than a PR person. I guess because I know how a journalist and a blogger and also a social media influencer work and how they think, because I am one. Well, I hope. Anyway, I hope the latter. But I'm not a PR pro. I'm not going to teach you how to write a press release in this workshop. There is nothing wrong with writing press releases. They have their place, but writing a press release, uploading to a wire doesn't have the same impact as something that's tailored to each individual journalist. I'm also about class and professionalism, so there's no cheap, dirty tricks happening here. This is all credibility, but also being able to do it quickly and efficiently. So if that sounds good to you, then you're in the right place. Now, I've been doing PR and I've been teaching it for a while now, and I've seen more than my fair share of press releases and business pitches from as a journalist as well. So my clients and myself, we've been featured in everything from top niche publications through to the Today Show, through to major Melbourne newspaper, the Herald Sun, for those of you in Australia. And just an example, one client, she started her business. She gained national media coverage in the space of a couple of months of starting her business. And within months of that, she was working with multinational companies in her business. So that was within 4 months, pretty much. The whole, from start to multinationals, was about 4 months. So it's because those corporates saw her in the media and she gained that instant credibility and that instant trust factor. So who would like that sort of feedback? Let me know in the chat box. Type in there. Let me know if this is what you're aiming for. If that's too high up the ladder for what you're aiming for, if you're more looking for local media, maybe you're looking for radio. Is it magazines? Now, if you're doing magazines at Christmas, you should have done that by now, unless they're short lead time ones, or they are online magazines. Traditional magazines generally have a 6-month lead-up time, so you have missed that window, unfortunately. But let's get on to the good stuff, because I told you I'm not going to faff about today. I want to get straight to the content. So why public relations and how does it work? So why public relations? Well, it's instant expert status. It's free. You're not paying for advertising. It's third-party endorsement, and I cannot tell you how powerful that is. It increases your visibility, and of course, the bigger the publication that you're pitching, or the TV show or the radio station that you're pitching, the bigger the visibility for you, of course. High perceived value, and this can often also mean higher fees for you if you want to put your fees up. More people calling you, wanting to do business with you as opposed to your competitor. More paid speaking engagements. More word of mouth and referrals. Again, this is one of the most powerful things that you can have in your business. And of course, more freedom. You'll spend less time cold calling, and I can tell you I'm not a big fan of cold calling at all. So how does PR work? Now, I want you to actually take some notes here, and this is the actual steps that you'll need to go through to get PR. So I'd really love you to write these ones down. So this is the process pretty much and how it works. The first piece is matching your media list to your content calendar to build a strong foundation for publicity. And this one's important because you need to be pitching relevant content to the right media, and those sources need to be where your target market is hanging out. So the result then is that you get publicity and you get profits for your business. It's one thing to get publicity, but you also need to be targeting the right places at the right time so that you can actually get profit. And that's what this Christmas PR campaign is really about. The second piece is running a killer press release. There is a place for a press release that the media can't ignore, and a great press release will really help sell your story to win over a journalist. And in some cases, as I've said, you won't need a press release, and I'll teach you more what that is and how to drop it in my Publicity Alchemy program for anyone who's already done that, or if it's something that you're thinking about. That's really where we go deep on when to use it and when not to use it. The third piece is how to get your press release past the newsroom door. So I guess this is the area that most people really struggle with, but it's the most important to get journalists chasing you down for interviews, and it's really not that hard, and you don't need existing relationships with journalists to have that happen. It's great if you already do, or if you're working towards having that, but you don't necessarily need it if you're sitting there thinking, I don't have that. Fourth is how to survive a media interview. Now, the right preparation is really key here so that you appear professional, you ease nerves, which of course for someone who's an introvert like me, that's a huge thing, and to enable you to get the correct message across. So a good delivery of your story and message will also get the attention of other media, and of course that can then snowball and expand your exposure even further. Fifth there is the if your pitch doesn't get picked up, then you need to do the follow-up, the dreaded follow-up, but you need to do it in a way that doesn't actually annoy journalists. So I always cringe when people used to ring and say, did you get my press release? There's a better way to do it. Just trust me. We won't go into it right now, but there is a better way to do it. And lastly, the sixth piece is really leveraging the media exposure. So once you get media, that's not where it ends. You need to leverage that to catapult yourself to whatever level you want it to reach. So the beauty of this process and this system is that once you do it once, you can repeat the system again and again, and whenever you need a business boost, pretty much. So how awesome is that? Do you think that's achievable for you? Again, let me know in the chat box. Is that something that's achievable for you? Could you follow that process? Oh, yes. Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, that's awesome to hear. Love it. So today we're actually going to be focusing on the story section, so which is, I guess, what to pitch to the media, as I talked about a bit about press releases there. But it's really a hook. What is the hook that you're going to be that makes them want to write about you in the first place? So the thing to bear in mind is that for some businesses, 40% of their yearly sales come during the Christmas period. So people are in spending mode at Christmas. We'll get to the slides. We'll catch up in a minute. So it's easier to get people to spend money with you because it's easier for them, because they're more willing to open their wallets at that time. So if you tap into media to gain coverage of your product or your service at this time of year, and you get access to thousands of people with their eyes on your product in one hit, then that can have a huge impact on your business. So you want to find a way to get the attention of the media that's different to what everyone else is doing. You do not want to blend in. It's going to require some creativity, so you need to plan. You need to have a plan. Now, I could tell you how to get your product featured in a magazine gift guide, for example, and I can tell you that, there's some pretty creative ways to do that. But it's not what I want to teach you today. You can actually find a pitch letter example and creative pitch examples in Publicity Alchemy as well, for those of you that are already in there, or if you're thinking about it, that's already in there. But today I want to show you a way to, to stand out with your product or service, to get media attention while everyone else is aiming for the gift guides, that you can actually have a full feature done on you. So at Christmas, many media, they get bombarded with press releases. The news desk and the inbox and the fax doesn't have it anymore, or not quite as much anyway if you're doing fax. You might actually stand out by doing fax. There you go, if anyone actually monitors it. But they just get bombarded with press releases about products, and it's boring. You need to grab their attention with something else. So the way to do that is to show how your product or service fits into a trend. And that's really what we're going to focus on. And December in itself is brimming with trend options, whether it's before Christmas or even after Christmas. There's heaps of options there. So the first one we're going to look at, this is the content. I want you to be taking notes now and writing down any ideas that come to you, even if it's a silly idea at this stage, write it down, because, then after we get off this call, you can workshop that idea further with your team, or with a friend, or come into the Media Mastermind Facebook group and post your idea in there, and we can help you workshop that. So write anything down that you've got, so that then you can take it away and refine it. So the first type is find a trend. So there's things, as you can see on the screen: Google Trends, social media, traditional media, statistics hubs. So here in Australia, we have the Australian Bureau of Statistics. If you go to Google, you can actually type in statistics, and you'll get heaps of places that you can get statistics from. And you can actually conduct your own survey. So you can use something as simple as SurveyMonkey, which is free to use if you have less than 10 questions, which you shouldn't need that many anyway, to be able to get some survey results that you can then use. So here's some ideas for you. Start jotting these ones down. Maybe you've got some summer marketing trends for those of you that are in marketing, or PR, if you're in PR. Top 10 something of the year. So newspapers and online in particular, they love looking at what's been hot during the last 12 months. So do you fit into that? Is there something that you fit into that's, top 10 of something of the year? Another one, the media and blogs will look at predicting trends for 2016. So first of all, we're looking backwards, which is what they do around Christmas. Just after Christmas, they'll be predicting trends for 2016. So do you have an opinion on what will happen in your industry next year? Do you already have some data that shows a particular trend is forming? It's obviously the first day of summer in December, or winter if you're in the UK and the US and anywhere else in the world. How does summer and winter and the weather patterns, how does that affect your business? Can your product or service solve a weather-related problem? Or is the weather causing problems for your business? There's so many ideas with the weather. Trust me that you can keep going. Have you sold out of an item in record time because of the weather? Look through your data and see if the change in weather actually reveals any interesting patterns for you, or any data that you can dig up. Another one is how to stay safe while on holidays. So if you're in the travel industry, see if there's a trend towards certain locations or activities these holidays. For media, for those in the Northern Hemisphere, if it's snow, if snow is your selling point, let the media know when the first signs of snow appear. It makes for great, great visuals. Another one, of course, here in Australia, some smart tips are essential for good, for businesses in the beauty industry and outdoor-focused businesses in Australia. Maybe you've got some trend data on that, and the trend of sun safety or products or whatever you happen to be in alignment with. More for after Christmas, this one, but health coaches, life coaches and behavioural experts, they can weigh into New Year's Eve parties and how to party safely or provide some natural hangover cures. Again, is there a trend in that? Is there something that happened last year that you can look at that will change this year? Virtual assistants, business and productivity experts can tap into winter solstice in the Northern Hemisphere and how to fit more into a shorter time frame. Again, are there trends around that? Are there different things that we're doing at different times of the year that, if there's certain patterns of what's happened from last year to this year, things that are happening in the lead up to it, things that are happening after it. Any data that you have is always fantastic for that. Is your product or service part of an emerging trend at the moment? So, for example, paleo diets. Food and Christmas go so well together. If you can look at sugar-free, all those things, if you're in the health and wellness area, then there's certainly a lot there for you as well. The economy is an ever-growing, evergreen sort of evergreen trend. It's always going up or it's going down. There's always stories around it. So look into the economy. So there's lots of opportunities there. This is quite out there, but I guess something to be inspired by. But the Burger King literally dropped cash when money was tight. The NBA's New Jersey Nets linked the unemployment with its sponsors, and Gap got Wall Street business people to dress down for a day, which is fantastic. Obviously, you might not have quite that influence, but you can think outside the square a bit here as well, rather than the traditional, looking at trends. How can you actually create a campaign around that and a publicity stunt? So this really was a publicity stunt, but it actually had real value tied to other marketing efforts and obviously riding on the coattails of an economic theme. So whether the economy is up or down, you can usually find a trend in that. I just need to click on here. So the next one is piggybacking off a trend. So there's things like movies, TV, books, music, technology, fashion, business, all trends. Again, fashion around Christmas time, what's in trend, what's not. If there's a particular movie that you can tie your business into. So is there something, a movie that's out at the moment that you can show, why, I don't know what's out at the moment. Let's just go with the Hunger Games. But how is being in business like the Hunger Games? I don't know, make something up, but try and look at what's trending at the moment, and the media will love anything that has a celebrity focus. And really that's what that piggybacking off a trend is for movies, TV and books and music. From technology, fashion and business, there is always trends anyway, and to tap into those. Bucking a trend. So you got to prepare to be controversial. Now, do you disagree with the commercialization of Christmas? If, of course, your business ties into that, maybe, that could be quite hard. Maybe you're a food outlet who thinks, Australians should be doing away with the traditional hot lunch in 40-degree heat and embracing something else. At this time of year. So looking at bucking a trend, what happens at Christmas that you completely disagree with that you can speak out about? Next is be a trendsetter. Now, the latest, coolest thing for kids that's going to be all the rage, maybe you're the one who's paving the way for that. Is it fashion trends and you're starting the fashion trend? So this isn't necessarily piggybacking off a fashion trend that already exists, but actually paving the way for a new fashion trend. So lots and lots of ideas there. I hope you jotted down lots that you can use there, but so much stuff that if you start looking at trends, start looking at your own data and start listening in particularly to conversations that are happening on Facebook, happening in your own inbox. You might be surprised at what's happening in there that you can turn into a trend as well and turn into a pitch. So when you pitch a journalist, it's got to be a win for the journalist, as in it's got to be a great story for them to write about. It's got to be a win for the reader, the listener or the viewer. So that then becomes a double win for the journalist, because there's self-indulgent journalism that's all about the journalist and doesn't have any great value to the reader. But the journalist, a good journalist, will write a story that's of high value to their readers. And I guess the main point of that is that they sell more newspapers or they sell more magazines or they get more viewers or more listeners. And of course, the other one is it's got to be a win for you as well. If it's not a win for you, then it's not worth doing. So make sure that you're getting something out of this media coverage as well. So start brainstorming. What are some of the types of content that you could be putting out there? So just to recap, we've got find a trend, we've got piggybacking off a trend, buck a trend, and be a trendsetter. So there's plenty of opportunities there. Now, I know there's a couple of questions coming through, but just really quickly, I want to tell you a bit about Publicity Alchemy for those of you who are interested in it. I'll try and keep this as brief as possible because I know the whole sales pitch thing, a lot of people aren't interested in listening to big, long sales pitches at the end of a workshop, and I completely understand that. I'm the same, so I'm going to whiz through it and answer any prevalent questions so we can get to the good stuff, the actual real questions that are coming through. So I'm offering obviously this premium product just to allow you to do this successfully and get results quickly, again with integrity. So I want to tell you very quickly, it's called Publicity Alchemy, and after the first round of the program, we've done a couple of rounds now and we're getting participants who are getting noticed in the media and letting us know about that. So despite what PRs might have you think, you can actually do this yourself, and you don't need years of media connections or experience, and you don't need a PR agent to do that. So it's something that you can do easily yourself. If you have a team or an assistant, it's something that they can do for you as well. So every time you need to boost your bottom line, if you need to gain expert status or attract more clients who have instant trust in you and your brand, then this third-party endorsement from the media can certainly do that for you. So it's great if you're starting out in business, or if you have been in business for quite a while. It's not going to matter at what level of business you are. You're all on the same playing field. Just know that. It doesn't matter if you're just starting out. So the bottom line is that by bringing your PR in-house, it puts you in control of your publicity efforts. And of course, nobody has the ability to sell your business or your product to the media quite like you do. So this is what's involved in it. There's 5 super simple step-by-step video lessons, and they're designed to guide you through 5 steps, pretty much what we were talking about through the 6 steps at the beginning, but packed into 5 modules to land yourself newspaper, radio and TV coverage in 30 days or less. The reality is you could get PR exposure tomorrow with one of the stories we've talked about tomorrow, but this is laid out in more a 30-day plan. Again, you can get it tomorrow. I'm not going to promise that you can get it tomorrow, though. You'll receive, so it's 1 hour of training once a week, so it's really achievable for you to work through. Clarity and mapping for a higher success rate. So each module has a homework assignment. Yes, I do homework, just to highlight the essentials to get featured in the media much quicker and getting you moving forward, because that's really, really important to me. In addition, there's workbooks to allow you to follow along easily with the 5 steps, and tools to revert back to throughout your progress. And I guess the beauty of this is that you can keep coming back and looking at this each time so that you can become a media star. And there's also accountability and support to help you keep moving. So it's one thing to buy a course, but it's another thing altogether to actually stay accountable to your goals. And one of my big goals is to see that every person who comes in actually gets media coverage. So I'm here championing your efforts, and the private group is a place for you to share your struggles, your challenges, any feedback that you have that you need for press releases or pictures that you're doing or ideas that you've got before hitting send to the journalist. So this is your support network without having to go to a PR agency. So the training's focused on those 5 steps to get you masses of free publicity for your business, and I'm going to walk you through step by step to give you the tools we use to model your public relations on what's gone before you. So here's the modules and what you get. Module 1 is setting the foundation. So we look at the basics of PR to understand the what, why, and the how of publicity. Then we set your foundations for success. So we develop your ideal client avatar that will help achieve your end goal, and then match that to the perfect media list that you can easily put together. So this means your pitches will be more successful and you'll attract more of the people that you want for your business. Module 2, as you can see there on the slide, is your signature stories, which is really what we've been going through today. It's about, I guess, setting you apart from your competition. So the thing that the media are clamoring for is to tell a story. And we also delve into the best story hooks that the media can't ignore, and develop your content calendar so that this is ongoing. This isn't just a one-off campaign that you do, but something that you do regularly, just to give you some clarity on where you're going. And then lastly, we show how to use a press release and when to drop it, as I've been saying throughout, so you don't miss those major media opportunities. Module 3 is building relationships. So you'll learn 5 things you should know about the media that will increase your chances of media success, along with how to build relationships with key journalists as well. And we dive into how to pitch, because if you can't get your pitch past the newsroom door, then you've pretty much failed before you've begun. So the final section of this module is how not to annoy a journalist during that dreaded follow-up call, and how to get an instant yes from them. And then the very last module, module 4, that's not the last module. Module 4 is surviving an interview, and this is the covers how to prepare for your interview, developing your key messages, and crafting your sound bites, so you have a really memorable interview that draws people to you. And we'll talk about how to survive an interview and how to avoid being the star for all the wrong reasons, which we do not want. And keep your brand intact and have journalists recommending you to others, which is really what my clients, what happens to them is they'll do a media interview with a newspaper, and then that journalist will go to its sister TV station and recommend that my talent to that person. Module 5, the last one, is leveraging media. So find out what to do after the interview to open more media doors, how to monitor the media to catch your media mentions and leverage your media exposure through digital PR. And then lastly, we look at measuring your media coverage for future growth patterns and importantly, profiting from it. As I said, super important, particularly at the time of Christmas, when if you can get 40% of your sales at Christmas time, that is a huge boost for your entire year. So this means you spend less time in your business and more time doing the things that you actually love doing. Now, I've got some bonuses inside there as well. If you grab it before doors close, this intake, so you receive the complete press release kit, which steps you through how to write a winning press release, a swipe file of phone and email scripts. You never need to be left speechless again when you pick up the phone to that journalist, and the 2015 PR news calendar. Now, if you come into Publicity Alchemy and join before Saturday night at 9 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. If you do that in this early bird section, I will also give you the 2016 PR News Calendar, which is coming out very, very soon. I'm working on that one at the moment. But the PR calendars, they're my most popular selling item. You'll get the Australian version and the US version. They retail for $47 each, fully digital. And it's, as I said, one of my most popular items in my store. It sells really well. It sets out evergreen stories into a calendar that you can tap in to promote your business year round. And if you've ever struggled with coming up with those newsy angles for the media, the story prompts and the calendar of events will mean you never have to search for a story again. It is this year round. So it's a perfect opportunity for anyone who's just starting out in business, as I said, or if you have an established business. Now, if you would like to know my PR secrets, as you can see on the screen there, it is $2.97 Australian dollars, and which is much less in the US. I'm not sure what the conversion is today, but that's for my complete step-by-step process. And normally to get a PR agent to do your campaign for you will cost you anywhere between $5,000 and $60,000 for a 4 to 6 month contract, and they can't guarantee results for you either with that sort of money, even with that sort of money. So by learning to do it yourself or to have one of your team members do it, then you have the ability to turn publicity on whenever you need that business boost, that profits, and it's not going to cost you a cent. You can just keep repeating this process. So as I said, it's $2.97 in Australian dollars, or you can do the 3-part payment process. I think it's $108 something or other, but I've just put $109 to be safe for the payment plan. So that's $109 today, and then 2 payments spaced 30 days apart. And you can sign up at the link there, bit.ly/publicity alchemy, capital P, capital A. Make sure you have those in there so it works. And you can actually be starting straight away. So we've had lots of people go through the program. Here's what 2 have said. Carolyn D. Henderson said, I'm more confident about approaching the media and sharing my story and the services of my business. Kellie was great at providing publicity nuggets throughout each module, priceless. My story was showcased in CBS Atlanta. Publicity Alchemy opened another door for my business. I can confidently move forward, build relationships with journalists, and get the exposure I want to sell my women's leadership development services. Also, we had Kari Joyce, who said Module 4 is absolutely wonderful. It's by far the best explanation I've ever heard of sound bites. Thank you so much. And the next one, which I'm going to have to read off this screen, is we reached out to various media publications with our story to see if they were interested in sharing our trip. Publicity Alchemy, which is a course I did on rocking your own PR, was a lifesaver for helping me create the pitch letter. The founder of that course helped me to create it and then send it to a contact. It was a great learning process for me and has given me confidence to do this more. So what happened, she did get a chance to talk about her trip. So the trip was to the White House. So there's 2 Australian bloggers got to go to the White House, and she got some radio on 2GB Sydney for that as well. So as you can see, people are getting results by actually doing this themselves, and you can too. These are, people in business for themselves, people in business by themselves. So it's highly achievable, and all at different stages in their business as well. So now we're going to go on to question and answer time. If there are any questions that you have, let's have a look. And we're doing well time-wise as well. That's awesome. So how long should I be spending on PR? Look, this can actually differ, and it's completely up to you. How much you invest in it really is then how much you get out of it. So the more you invest in it, the more you're going to get out of it. I have people who spend, 1 hour a week. Some spend 1 hour a month. It's completely up to you. Some people spend an entire day working on their PR. So, yeah, it's up to you, and depending on what level of results you want. Let's have a look. Okay, so I don't have any media contacts. which, you know, that's fine. As I said, you don't need media contacts, and inside Publicity Alchemy, we actually go through how to do that. But the reality is, if you've got a publication you want to pitch, some will actually have media contact details on the contact page. You'll be surprised how much information's there. They may only have the string, I guess you call it, of one journalist, so it might be john.smith@newsmedia.com. You can then determine that if you need Jennifer Lewis, then it's going to be jennifer.lewis@newsmedia.com. So that's an easy way to do it. Another option is to just go straight to pick up the phone and actually ring the front desk and ask them, and they'll give you the contact details as well. So 2 simple ways to get media contacts. I think we've got one more question here. Okay, so how long before following up with a journalist? So this is if they haven't called you. So if you pitch and they haven't called back. So as far from what I do, I guess is leave it somewhere between 3 days and a week. Now, doing it too soon after you've pitched, they may not have had a chance to read it. Doing it too long after you've pitched and they've forgotten about it and they've binned it. So 3 to 7 days, I think, is a nice window of time. Excellent. I think that's all we've got. Some lovely comments as well. Thank you so much. I'm glad you've got heaps out of it. That is awesome. Okay, so just to wrap up, I guess, thanks so much for staying to the end. I really do appreciate that. I know how busy you all are, so I'm glad that you've stayed to the end and got your questions answered as well. So if you're ready to take the next step with me and you're ready to tap into some of that media coverage, particularly at this time at Christmas, and actually take a slice of the Christmas sales that do come in, then I'd love to have you join me and to be able to help and guide you over the next 5 weeks. In the meantime, keep working keep working on your PR plan. It will evolve. You'll keep coming up with great stories, but good luck, well done, and thank you so much.